Welcome to the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show. Jeff, DiVeronica and Steve Bradley here to talk a little cheerleading. Yes, cheerleading. We cover all the sports here in Section 5, and as I've been saying for the past 15 to 20 years, since I was a sports writer at the Democrat Chronicle, cheerleading is most definitely a sport. If you don't agree with me, go watch a cheerleading competition, and you tell me how that's not acrobatic and gymnastic and physical and takes strength and practice and precision. A goalie misses the ball, it goes in the goal. In cheerleading, if somebody makes a mistake, it's could be a lot more dangerous than that. So these girls and boys practice really hard, putting a lot of time. And Steve, we're going to talk with one of the gold standards for Section 5 cheerleading over the past 20, 30 years. It's Fairport cheerleading.
Absolutely, Jeff. I think when you talk about a short list of Section 5 success stories, Fairport's right at the top. And in the last calendar year alone, the Fairport varsity cheer has won 3 sectional titles. So always right there at the top. And we know how competitive it is. It's fractions of a point that separate championships from second, third place. So it's always tight competition. It's always intense. And we're so glad that it's finally recognized, not just at the Section 5 level, but also the regional and the state level too.
And one of the big reasons, maybe the biggest reason for Fairport being such a powerhouse in cheerleading over the past 25 years is their coach. And they're on our program today because she's resigning and retiring as coaching Fairport cheerleading, which is really amazing. A quarter century. Elaine McGurk will join us now on our specialties Skype hotline, along with 2 Fairport varsity cheerleaders, seniors Lindsay Fox and Katie Carrigan. That's Katie in the middle and Lindsay over on the right side. Hi, ladies, you can wave. Hi, ladies. Welcome to our show. Thanks for being on the program. And Elaine, I guess we're doing this because it's newsworthy here, and you're out of season. It's the spring, but you're so synonymous with Fairport cheerleading, and you're stepping away from that. Can you tell our audience why it's time for you to move on to something else and step away from? I guess maybe it's almost like your child, Fairport cheerleading. What's the news here, Elaine? Why are you stepping down?
Well, I've been there so many years, and my kids have grown up through the program, and now my daughter is ready to start her own cheerleading experiences. So I've decided to take a little step back. I'm still going to help out with Fairport cheerleading and help through transitions and things like that, but I'll be spending more time with my daughter Hannah and coaching her team.
Lindsay, what's it been like to cheer for Coach McGurk?
It's just amazing. She has been doing this for so long, and you just know that everything that she's saying, that it's going to help you succeed and get better and just help us with all the titles.
Katie, do little girls and boys grow up, and certainly boys, wanted to be Fairport cheerleaders? I mean, when did you get started in the sport? And I guess was this your goal, to be a Fairport cheerleader?
Yeah, definitely. I started cheer when I was 4, because my mom had family friends that were coached by Coach, and she knew how special Coach was to them, and this was the end goal for me to be a Fairport varsity cheerleader, and couldn't have had it any other way.
Elaine, when you look back at things, or when people stop in the grocery store and ask you what it's been like to coach this program for so long, what's your response?
Well, it's been like a family. So when I see people at, like you said, the grocery store or out, we just talk about how they're doing, how their families are doing, how the kids are doing in college or out of college, and they have kids now. And they see my kids and always comment on how big they're getting and how they can remember them when they were little babies learning to walk on the mat. And so it's, we don't usually reminisce about the whole Fairport program in general. It's nice to have so many connections from Fairport cheerleading with families out in the communities, and it's nice being able to stay in touch with everybody.
Katie and Lindsay, either one of your sisters or brothers has ever cheered for Fairport? Was this something that was in your family, or are you first timers?
I personally was the first in my family to do Fairport cheerleading, but actually my little sister was on varsity with me. So she came into the program and then we made varsity together. So that was really even made it more like a family and just was a great experience.
Katie, how about you?
I'm the only one of my siblings to be a cheerleader.
That leads me to my next question, which is Coach McGurk. Have you coached daughters or sons of former cheerleaders already now or no?
I am with my daughter. There are kids on her team that are the kids that I've coached.
Yeah, I'm not good at math. That'll be almost impossible, right? Think about it. 25 years, you would have. Yeah, I don't know if you could have done it, but
well, it's not total. I mean, somebody from her first year. I mean, it's not totally impossible.
It was a few years. And
what are you gonna miss, Coach? You could take an hour to answer this one, right?
It could. I think mostly the connection that you make with all the girls and the everyday, because our season is 2 seasons, but really it's it's separated for 2 seasons, but it's really just one long season for most everybody. So, and then you have girls on the teams for, 2, 3, and sometimes 4 years. So you really make a connection with them and their families, and I'll miss that.
Girls, what is it meant to be on the team? Just, the tradition, the excellence, and the victories.
It's just such an honor to be a Fairport varsity cheerleader. You hear about all the titles and all the championships, but really it's about the bond and the family that you all have together and just all the amazing experiences. And I just wouldn't trade it for anything else. It's unlike any other experience.
Katie, let me ask you this about what you've learned from being on this team, part of this program, because it's people think it's different. It is different, but it's very similar to other sports. You got to have each other's back and all that. But so, what have you learned about being a teammate and leader for this program, about sports or being on a team?
Yeah, I've learned so much. I could go on for hours about it, but I feel like the biggest thing, is learning to support each other, because we're all on the same score sheet. We're all a team. There's not one star, so you really have to learn how to work together to push each other up, not down.
Yeah, you're only as strong as that weakest link, and if you have a weak link, it's going to be known, and the whole routine goes downhill. So let's take a quick break. Steve, come back. We'll talk about more, maybe a little bit the evolution of the sport, and Coach McGurk about maybe her future too. So we'll take a quick break. And as we do that, I want to tell you about one of our great sponsors here on the program that allows us to keep talking with Section 5 athletes. It's Bath Fitter. They can remake your bathroom, folks, in one day. Think about that, one day. I put a hot water tank in yesterday with my friend. It took us 4 hours. They can do that. They can do your whole bathroom in one day. Incredible stuff on Bath Fitter. There's a reason Rochester Bath Fitter is one of the top grossing operations in the country for Bath Fitter. It's because the Rochester folks do great work. Give them a call. Tell me you heard about it right here on the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show. We'll take a break, come back, and do part 2 with Fairport Varsity Cheerleading.
There's a path to success full of challenges, rewards, inspiration, and strength. A strength that only the U.S. Army Reserve can give you. The skills and experiences you'll get will give you an advantage in your civilian life. Stay close to home, train to develop your strengths, and get on a path to success. Find out more at goarmy.com/reserve.
For more information, contact Syracuse Army Recruiting Center, 315-449-2830. There's strong. Then there's Army Strong, paid for by the U.S. Army.
Baby, sweet baby, oh baby,
Whether you come here as a 6th grader or a 9th grader, you have to spend your 4, 5, 6 years here and just get involved in so many different things. And then you're going to go out and set fire on the earth. When you get through McCoy Jesuit, you're not going to fail when you get out in the world.
Tell you about my friends at Bath Fitter. 30 years across the country they've been doing this stuff. 20 plus years in Rochester. You don't have that kind of longevity without treating your customers right, doing great quality work. Please check them out online, bathfitter.com. Call the local office at 617-0007. It's Bath Fitter Rochester. Don't be a DIY diva and try to do it yourself. Don't screw it up. Let the pros do it. Remodel with confidence. Remodel with Bath Fitter. And please tell them you heard about it right here from Jeff DiVeronica on the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show. We're brought to you by Salvador's Pizza.
There are plenty of professional sports teams in Rochester, but there's also a lot of great high school sports action in each town in our area. When's the last time you checked out a high school game? Section 5 sports are about more than just wins and losses. They're about teaching teamwork, dedication, and discipline. So support the kids who play for your school. Get out and watch a high school game today. For more information, including schedules, rosters, and stats, visit section5.org. That's sectionv.org. Brought to you by the Monroe County League and Section 5.
In doing the work you do, if you're hurt, we'll help you through.
Don't be fooled. Video hearings are as critical as appearing in person.
Make sure your rights are protected.
Your employer has trained specialists on their side.
And the judges work for New York State.
The only person on your side
is the attorney at your side.
Connors and Ferris, your workers' comp attorneys.
Local McDonald's operators care about our local schools, teams, and student athletes. That's why they support the return of high school athletics in the Rochester area and around the state. See you before or after the big game at McDonald's. Welcome back, Section 5. Game on!
Elaine, how close was the baby's Hannah's arrival to the actual performance in the Great Rochesters, and what was that like?
It was about a couple weeks away, and it was actually really great timing, because if it happened during that week, then I wouldn't have been able to go. So it was good timing that it was a couple weeks before, then I was able to go and see my girls perform.
Does she seem to enjoy all this?
She does. As you can see, she sleeps most of the time, but she came to her first competition this past Saturday. So she was excited about that.
Welcome back to the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show. Jeff DiVeronica, Steve Bradley, and the ladies from Fairport Cheerleading, Coach Elaine McGurk. I only get to say that like maybe one other time now. Elaine McGurk, Coach Elaine McGurk, and two of her senior leaders, Katie Carrigan and Lindsay Fox, join us on our specialties Skype hotline. Thanks for being on the program, ladies. We're talking about Elaine stepping away from the program, something that she's coached for 25 years. Elaine, let me ask you about the evolution of this sport. When it wasn't a sport 25 years ago, people didn't think it was that. How different is it what you teach and what you've taught over the last decade compared to the first 15 years?
Well, it's gotten to be more athletic, much more athletic, with harder level tumbling skills and stunting skills. The things that we do now compared to then are a lot more difficult. So, I mean, each year it keeps getting more difficult, but it's changed a lot and very quickly over the last 15 years.
Katie, what's the most fun for you?
I love tumbling personally. I think it's so fun, but all of it, there's not one part that I really don't like.
If folks, if you've never seen it, if you know what a flow routine looks like in the gymnastics and the Olympics, part of that is incorporated into their routine. The tumbling is amazing. Lindsay, let me ask you this. I mean, how often? Let's see. How many hours a week did you think you practiced? I'm doing this because I want the haters to see that this is really a sport. How many hours a week do you think you practice when you're in season for Fairport Cheerleading?
We practice for 2 hours every single day of the week, even Sunday. We go to tumbling classes. So it really is like our whole lives when we're in season, and we just we see our teammates every single day, and we work so hard at all of our practices. So it really is time consuming and yeah.
And how about, you ever make it into a weight room as a Fairport cheerleader?
Yeah. Well, every day we do conditioning, and especially in our summer practices, we do a lot of ab workouts and running and endurance stuff to keep us prepared for our competition season.
They lift people every day, many times a day. They lift people.
They lift. Hey, what are you pumping today? I'm just pumping some humans. What's the toughest? If you had to tell a young person, boy or girl, Katie, what it takes to be a cheerleader, at Fairport in particular, what would you tell them? What advice would you give? Be ready for this.
It takes a lot of hard work, not only physical, but mental too. The mentality is a big part of cheer, but it's so worth it at the end, all the work. I would do it all over.
Steve, one more quick one, and I'm going to give this one to Lindsay. And how did the woman in the glasses sit next to you how does she pull the best out of her athletes? How does she get the best out of you?
She just knows what to tell us to help us to be our best. Like, she always has the perfect critiques and knows how to make them stick in our brain so that the next time we do it right. And if we don't do it right, then she just tells us over and over. Yeah. Repetition.
Elaine, have you thought about what you're going to miss the most yet, or is that not sunk in?
I really don't think it's sunk in yet. This is the usual of what happens, a little downtime after the season ends, and I'll still do summer camps. That's a lot of fun. I think it'll be a lot different for me, and it'll hit me closer to when it's time to try out again and when everything starts to move forward again. Then I think it'll be more of an adjustment for me.
Well, let's welcome on our special guest here, and she's the main reason, right, that you're going to be the former Fairport coach. Let's welcome on Hannah. Joins us now. She's your daughter. Hannah, come on into the screen, Hannah. There she is. Hi, Hannah. Welcome to our show. How are you?
Good.
How happy are you that Mama's going to be around to watch you and coach you and see you do all your cheerleading stuff and other sports?
Really happy.
Yeah. Yeah, and and Steve, Elaine, and I talked yesterday about this, and one of the reasons I no longer wanted to be a sports writer at the Democratic Chronicle, and I left that profession, was because it requires you to work a lot at night and late in the afternoons, and I knew that one day my daughter might be playing sports or doing dance, and I'd have to miss that, and I didn't want to miss that, and it's a similar reason that I stepped away from that Elaine has chosen this route too. So she is our G&G Fitness Coach of the Week. So congratulations on that. It's the second time she's won this award. She's also been, she's led teams to 22 Section 5 titles, 2 state championships, which didn't exist when she started all this, 8 national titles, and she was once the New York State Spirit Coach of the Year. She was one of my go-tos when I needed to do some smart reporting on what the evolution of cheerleading when I was a reporter. And I know she's made a huge difference in the lives of many young people in Fairport. Elaine, last question. What did you want to teach these girls about life, not just about how to catch somebody before they hit the mat?
Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest thing I tell them. You're not going to be cheerleading your whole life, unless you're me, I guess. But so when they leave the program, they're going to have to leave with, a lot more than just cheerleading skills. They need some life lessons and learning how to deal with good things, being humble and learning how to deal with disappointments and moving on from that with your head up. And, there's always a lesson to be learned out of any experience. Just to try to give them tools to be successful, wonderful adults.
Well, Steve, it's been great having cheerleading on our show this year and in the past, and we look forward. Do we know a successor yet? Has a successor been named for the big shoes of Coach McGurk or no?
Not definitely yet.
Okay.
But like I said, I'm gonna help with the transition, so I'm still gonna be around, not in the same position, but I'll still be around.
Put in a good word for me. Make sure they answer my calls when we need help. All right. All right. Ladies, thanks for being on our show. We appreciate it. And obviously, Coach McGurk, we wish you the best of luck moving forward. And we'll see you down the road, hopefully. All right.
Definitely.
Fairport Varsity Cheerleading. Thank you, Lindsay and Katie. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Steve, good stuff. It's always good to diversify what we do, and I've been a cheerleader for cheerleading for a long time. So happy to do that.
No, 100%. And when somebody dedicates as much of their life to a team or a program or a school as Elaine has, they certainly deserve a proper send-off.
We're glad to do it here on the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show. Talk to you again real soon. Make sure you check us out right here on Rock Sports Now on YouTube.